Hey, how you doing? This is Tom, and this is Tom's Radio Room Show. And this morning, I'm going to kind of go over my wish list for radios. And these are new radios, old radios, and they're reasonably priced radios. Now, I have several radios on my list that are way out of my budget. I mean, totally out of my budget. I'd have to win the lottery to buy it. Some of those ICOM radios, oh, they're nice. But anyway, today I'm going to show you kind of the process I go through every morning. It takes me about an hour, and it's going through my wish list of radios that are on eBay. And I'm not sure how I'm going to approach this, but we're just going to go through it and see how it works out. So what I did is I get about a dozen emails from eBay on searches I've done. And they come about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and then I go through them and see what it found. And these are new postings since the previous day of radios in a given search results. I'll show you what I mean. Here we go. And these are now in no particular order. So here's the search I did for, does it tell me? Yeah, Grundig Satellite 700 radios. This is one of my radios that's on my wish list. I don't know if it's a fantastic radio, but it's very unique. And unfortunately, it's must be in high demand because the prices are pretty high. I got about a year ago. I got this Grundig Satellite 500, and I paid I think $75 for it, and it's in mint condition. I still have it around here someplace. So I thought, the 700, which is newer, it has more functions. I'd like to have that one, and I think maybe $200 would be a reasonable amount. I'd like to get it for less than that, maybe 150. But look at here, this is eBay. And I'm not complaining, I'm just stating the facts and telling you what radios I'm looking for. So here's some. 375, 399, 299, 263. Have we seen any less than 200 yet? No. And then here's some adapters and stuff. I think that's about it. Yeah, that's about it. So every morning I get an email from eBay on the search results for this particular radio. And this is usually what happens. There's some out there, because there's a lot of these radios out there. But apparently they're in high demand because they really want a lot of money for them. And these are used. These aren't new. So that's one. Oh, I think I'll name this show Tom's Whining or something like that, because I'm going to do a lot of whining. Okay, now here's one more in a reasonable price range. This is for Sony shortwave radios. And here's one that looks pretty good, kind of unusual, and $40. Oops, parts only. Gotta watch that. So many of these listings are marked parts only. Now they might be working, but what I think the sellers are doing is if you mark something parts only, then the person that buys it can't get a refund. They can't use eBay to get a refund because the seller has marked it parts only as is. You're stuck with it. So those I ignore, even though they possibly could work fine. I might have to start looking into those. I'm getting pretty desperate. Here's one for $1.50, and it's a Sony. It might be interesting. I'll take a look at that one. And there's a lot of other things that are marked Sony that are like, this is a photo, and this is, I don't know what that is. Here's a ICF 4800 9-band. I see a lot of these. That one looks pretty good. Now, One little problem from India. Oh, I can imagine what the ship. Oh, so the shipping is $13, but from India, ooh, I think I'll have to pass on that. There's a boombox, Sony. There's a SW30. That doesn't look too bad. Let's. Oh, I don't want to criticize these radios, so I'm not going to go into them. So I'm just going to show you what I'm looking for. There's a lot of junk radios on eBay you have to be careful of. Now here is a 2001. I'm looking for a 2010. I had a 2010 about 100 years ago, and it seemed like it was kind of a mediocre radio, but now when I look back on it, I wish I wouldn't have sold it. Somebody made me an offer I couldn't refuse, and I sold it, and I'm sorry I did. So anyway, that's the Sonys. So I'm looking, in this category, I'm looking for instance, a 2010 for around $125. There are several other Sonys. 30 looks kind of interesting. I'll look at that later. So definitely the Sony 2010 is on my wish list. Now let's go on. Realistic, Radio Shack. Okay, I have one of these. I have one of these. One of those. One of those. I'm looking for one of these. I had one of these, and it developed a problem, and so I gave it away. I'm looking for a replacement. This is the DX440. Sangean makes the same thing, or they actually make it for Radio Shack. This looks reasonable. I'll look at that later. What else am I looking for? I've got that one. I got that one. There's a 380. I can't remember the number, but it's the same radio with a cassette player, so I don't need that. This one seems kind of interesting. So I'm actually looking for this, the Realistic Astronaut 8. I don't know if it's a particularly great radio, but it's unique. So I'm looking for that. I've got a DX100. There's another 440, $75. That seems a little high. Here's another Astronaut 8. And you can see right there, I'm watching it. I'm watching that one. I put a lot of watches on some of these radio listings, but the problem is quite often they end at rather odd times, and I missed the auction. So that's another one I'm looking for. Those two right now I can think of. There's another 440. The 440 is very popular, and I'd like to get one since it's so popular and do a review of it. Okay, I think there's another 440 and another 440. It's funny that there's so many of those 440s out there, yet I haven't been able to snag one at a reasonable price. All right, let's move on. We'll never get through this list. Okay, this is the Grundig shortwave radio, just Grundig in general. Radios I'm looking for. Trying to remember what I'm looking for at a reasonable price. You see a ton of these. I don't know what's going on here with these things. You see a ton of these newer Eaton Grundig field Bluetooth radios. This is $40 with almost $40 shipping. I don't know why these are so cheap, and there's many of them on there. I know if I had a problem with it. I never bought one. It's kind of on my wish list to try one. It's probably not much different than the one that looks almost identical to it, but doesn't have Bluetooth. Now there's the 500. I have the 500. Now this, I don't understand this. This is a Mini 300. I think it's sold new for like $29. It's advertised for $246. Is there a decimal place wrong there or something? I don't know. I'm trying to remember. There's a couple of them on my wish list in this category, but you very seldom see them. And I don't see any here. Now there's an 800, almost $500. I got mine for $200. Oh boy. And mine was in pristine condition. Got it locally. Now see, this is still too high, $35, but it's not $250. I don't think I'm going to see the one I'm looking for. That's on my wish list. No, I don't see it at any price. I did a review of this many years ago. This is the G3, and I gave it away on one of my shows. I wish I didn't give it away. So I'm looking for one of those. I think that's about it. These, I passed about 50 of these already. There is a bazillion of these out. The FR 200 and similar ones out there, and they're not that good a radio. And here's $50. And as you can see, the product rating is a 3 out of 5. They're not very good radios. I don't know why people are getting so much money for them. Excuse me. Here's 2 more, 3 more. Now see, here's a grinding field BT. It's $200. So what's with the other one? Matter of fact, the other one looks different. Anyway, let's move on. Golly, I'm getting stuck here. Now here's something I'm interested in. One of my subscribers sent me the money to buy one of these when they were on sale, the original model, the RSP1. So I have an RSP1, and it's a great radio using, excuse me, SDR Uno software. It's a great radio. So I would like to get either the 1A or the 2. And I've seen a couple of 1As on here, but they've been pretty much close to the price of a new one, and I would just as soon get a new one and not take the risk of getting one that was damaged. Now here's a 1A. This is a new one, I assume, $180. I don't think they're that much new from the manufacturer. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. Now here's $124 new from the UK, and I think that's where they're from, is Unique UK. Here is the 2, $229. I think that's the regular price. Again from the UK. Yeah, that's probably there. Here's a 2, $199 from the UK. So I'm looking for a 1A or a 2. I'd like to get a used 1A for, say, $100 and a used 2 for, say, $150. Maybe I'm dreaming. Maybe they'll never get that low used. Moving on. Okay, this search is for a home patrol scanner radio. Let's see if I can find one here. Yeah, here. No, that's an upgrade to it. But this is what it looks like. Very unique display. See if I can find a better picture. Now, what the heck is that Bofang doing in there? Gee whiz. Bofang is not a scanner radio. Yeah, it can be used as a scanner radio, but it does a terrible job. I'm sorry, I'm babbling now. I was hoping to find Home Patrol. There's a Home Patrol 1 and a 2, I believe. And the 2, which is a newer one, it's about $500 new. So I'm looking for like a 1, because the 1 is, I think, upgradable. Not upgradable to the full capabilities of the 2, but it is upgradable. And I believe it will do digital trunking. I'm not positive. So I'm looking for a Home Patrol 1 for about $150 used, and a 2 for about $250 used. Maybe that's unreasonable to think I could find one at that price. Moving on. Okay, this is the ham radio receiver. Any ham radio receiver. Very generic search. And because of that, there's a lot of results. 2,000 results. Results. And the email I get tells me how many new ones there are added in the last 24 hours. So I don't have to look through all 2,000. So I'm interested in one of these Heathkit GR78 receivers because it's unique. I've never played with the one, but I mean, it's a pretty good price, you know. Maybe I got to check into that one too. I can see I'm going to have to. I haven't done my review of these this morning. These results. Got one of those. Matter of fact, I actually have two of those. Now there's stuck in here is Grundig Yacht Boy 400. I think I have one of those. I'm pretty sure I have one of those. So no desire for that. I've got one of these Star Roamers. There's another 150. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's anything interested here. I'd like to. This is a brochure. I'd like to have this radio, RF 2900 by Panasonic. I'd love to get one of those. They are pretty pricey. They're in high demand too, and apparently they sold a lot of them because there's quite a few junky ones out there. You have to be very careful when you buy things off of eBay because, well, I'll just say you got to be careful. I think that's about it. All right. I was trying to see one in this category that I was looking for that's maybe too much money. Don't see one right offhand. Okay, we're going to give up. There's a lot of stuff in this category because it's very generic. Moving over here, this is the Uniden Bearcat 125 AT. This is a very unique scanner. And, excuse me, I don't remember off the top of my head what's unique about it, but I remember doing some research, and it's a very unique scanner. And I was hoping to find one that was around $25 or $30. And here's one right here. Now, and see, I'm watching it. And it's already got 9 bids, because that's a pretty good price, and it looks pretty clean. So that will probably go for a lot more. There's one $46. That's a little high. I apologize for the background noise, but I have the window open. It's not hot, but it's not cool, so I get the window open. All right, so that's that one. This is Zenith Transoceanic Radios. And I'm looking for several radios in this category. As I showed before, I think, well, maybe not. I'm looking for a 7,000. Where is a 7,000? There's a 3,000. No one 3,000. I have a 1,000 that I did a review on. Here's a 7,000. $44. That's unbelievable low. Now, there's been 17 bids, so there's a lot of people agree it's low, and I am watching it. This is what I'm looking for. A nice, clean, reasonably priced 7,000. Zenith 7,000. Here's a 3,000 again. Don't want there. There's a 1,000. Don't want that. Also, I'm looking for an L600, but they're really old, and they're usually pretty beat up. So you have to be cautious on those. I can't believe what they're getting for this book. This is a book on Zenith Transoceanic radios in general. Almost $40 that book. Whew. Don't understand. Here's another 7,000. Semi-working. That means it's semi-non-working. I'm not into fixing these radios, so I'll pass that one. So that's what I'm looking for in this category. is the 7000. Okay, we're getting there. And this is scanner radios in general, which there are a bazillion of them out there for sale. Unbelievable. Now, this is a very unique, notice it says parts only, so I'm going to ignore this one. This is a very unique one. I think I have one around here someplace, in that it was programmed using punch cards. And if you didn't have the punch cards and you didn't have the manual how to punch them, the radio was worthless. I've got one around here someplace. Not what I'm looking for. Actually, what I'm looking for, I've got a couple of these too, 796s. What I'm looking for is a digital scanner, because they go up to like $400 or $500. So I'd like to find a used one for a reasonable price, like $250, $300. I know, I'm dreaming. Or even, an older, unique scanner radio, which I don't see any this morning. So we're going to skip on. This one is a very broad category. Vintage radios. And you can see there's almost 9,000 listings. So this is pretty broad. This is shortwave radios, AM radios, AM FM radios. Like here, look at the contraster. Here is an Alvin 1939 radio photograph, $1,500. Whoa. I don't have that kind of money to throw away. Now here's something unique. A Sony ICF 7800 W. I don't even know what that is. I'm going to look at that one just for a second. Bear with me. Just want to look at the picture. Come on. Oh yeah, I remember seeing this before. Now that one I'd be interested in just because it's unique. Although it only has AM and FM in the old police band. But, $120. No, I'm not that interested in something I would never use. So anyway, this is very, very generic. But a lot of times you will find things like the one I just showed you right here buried down in this category of antique radios. Now, of course, because they put the term antique or vintage on it, they think they should get more money. So it's hard to find a bargain in this category. But I'm just looking for any unique radios, old radios. All right, we're going to move on. We got one more to go here, I think. And this is something that I very seldom find anything. This is C. Crane shortwave radios. C. Crane radios are pretty good, but their original prices are really high, really high. Now here is one of the better radios they had, and it is a copy of a Grundig radio. Just looks a lot slightly different, maybe have one or two functions are different, but it's basically a Grundig radio. And here's another one right here. But I'm interested in one of these, just to see how they sound, see how they tune. So there's some reasonable prices there. Oh, this one's, forget this one, parts only, you don't want that. Although sometimes when it's marked parts only, it might be completely functional. You don't know, but the seller doesn't want it returned. So he puts it in the parts only category. And then you can't demand your money back. So looks nice and clean. Oh, well. Not working. Well, that one you can definitely forget unless you're into repairing radios. Don't usually find much in this category. Pretty rare. Alrighty. I think that's it. So that's kind of a insight into what I do every morning for about an hour is I try to find some radios from eBay to get so that I can use on my show. And let me say I've failed. I've not done very good recently. Matter of fact, I don't think I purchased a radio off of eBay in over a year. That's how long it's been. And I'm pretty picky, so that's one of the reasons. And I'm looking for specific radios. I'm not looking for these cheap radios from China from eBay. I've done that a couple of times, and it just takes forever to get them, and you don't get a good representation on the listings on eBay. So I tend not to do that. I've done it in the past, like I said, but I tend not to do that. I usually get the cheap radios directly from like Banggood or Gear Best or Amazon. Better chance that it's an original radio. Now, one thing that's happening now is there are people that are advertising things and you don't ever get them. I'm sorry, you don't ever get them. And they're also advertising things as new, and you get it and it's obvious that it's been opened before. So beware of that. Anyway, that's it. If you enjoyed this show, please give me a thumbs up and have a great day. Bye-bye.